children? You are following solid state lesson and you are, I think, you are maintaining regular notes. So yesterday we have uploaded a question bank of solid state lesson. I think most of you, all of you have solved. If you have any doubt, you will get clarification in this class. Okay, we shall start with 1 mark questions. 15, as I said, as I informed in the yesterday's note, I told you to solve 1 to 15 1 mark questions. Even you can attempt next one question, 16th question also, I think. Okay. First question let me take up is anisotropy. What is anisotropy? Anisotropy is the property of crystalline solids. That means whenever some of the physical properties like conductivity, refractive index and such type of properties, physical properties are measured in different directions of a crystal, they give different values. The property due to which the crystalline solids have different physical property values in different directions of measurement is called as anisotropy. Okay, next question, between glass and copper, which one is isotropic in nature? It is asked out of glass and copper. Okay, copper is a metal. All metals are in crystalline form except mercury. At room temperature it is a liquid. If you take a metal, it is in the crystalline form. Copper is crystalline. Copper is a crystalline substance. Okay, whereas glass is amorphous. Okay, it is amorphous and we know glass is considered as supercooled liquid. So, glass is amorphous, copper is crystalline. It is asked in the question, it is asked which is isotropic. Isotropy is the property of what kind of substances? Amorphous substances. So, glass is amorphous whereas copper is, glass is isotropic whereas copper is anisotropic. Answer is glass. Third question out of 1 mark questions. Arrange these solids in their increasing order of their intermolecular attractions. There are 3 substances given in the third question. Question number 3, it is ice. Okay. Next is solid carbon dioxide, solid iodine and solid ammonia. Iodine is given and ammonia NH3 is given. Okay. Ice, that is water in the crystalline form, that is in the solid state. See, in water is a bent molecule with 2 lone pair of electrons, whereas ammonia is a pyramidal molecule with 1 lone pair of electrons. Okay. Iodine is a non-polar molecule. In non-polar molecules or in non-polar substances, you will find London forces. London force of attraction, or we call it as dispersion forces. Whereas in water and ice, in water, that is ice and ammonia, you will find hydrogen bonds. In solid substances of these two, hydrogen bonds are present. See, London forces are weakest force of attraction. So, in iodine, very weak force of attractions are present. Out of these two, ice and ammonia, we have to identify which one has a stronger hydrogen bonds. See, in water, there are 1 water molecule can make 4 hydrogen bonds. Okay, 2 with these 2 hydrogens, 2 with 1 single oxygen with lone pair of electrons. Okay, and ammonia can also make 4 hydrogen bonds. Both are making 4 hydrogen bonds per molecule. Out of the 2, oxygen is in water is more electronegative than nitrogen in ammonia. So, hydrogen bond in water is stronger than that in ammonia. So, strongest forces are present in water, next strong forces are present in ammonia and the weakest force are present in iodine. So, how is the question? What is the question? Arrange these solids in the increasing order of their intermolecular forces. So, we should start with the weakest force of attraction, iodine, which has weaker forces than in case of ammonia, than in case of ice. So, this should be your answer. Okay. Now, let us go to the next question. Ionic solids conduct electricity in molten state. Ionic solids conduct electricity in molten state, but not in solid state. Give reason. Okay. Ionic solids. What are ionic solids? In ionic solids, the constituent particles are negative and positive ions. Cations and anions are present. They are arranged in ordered way. Okay. Every cation is surrounded by certain number of anions like this. The cations and anions are arranged in ionic solids. So, what is asked here? Ionic solids conduct electricity in molten state, but not in solid state. If you take an ionic solid in the solid state, crystalline state, ions are present, okay, in solid state, ions are present, but ions are not movable, ions are immobile. Ions are immobile. They cannot move from one place to other place to carry electric charge. Therefore, in solid state, ionic substances do not conduct electricity. But whenever they are taken in the molten state, whenever a solid is converted into liquid, we call this process as melting. Okay, whenever melting process takes place, all the lattice are broken, lattice is destroyed, there is no lattice. When there is no lattice, ions are free to move. Ions are free to move in liquid state, that is in the molten state. So, in the molten state, ions can move freely. Therefore, ionic solids conduct electricity in the molten state, but in solid state ions cannot move, hence they do not conduct electricity. So, in brief, in molten state, ionic solids contains freely moving ions, so they conduct electricity. In solid state, ions cannot move from one place to other place, hence they do not conduct electricity. Fifth question. Is diamond a network or a metallic solid? You know, diamond is a covalent solid. Diamond contains carbon atoms arranged in a tetrahedral fashion in which carbon atom is sp3 hybridized. So, diamond like graphite is a network solid and it is a covalent solid but not metallic solid. Sixth question. Which type of crystalline solid is aluminum nitride? Sixth question, it is about aluminum nitride. Aluminum nitride is a covalent solid. It is very hard like diamond. Okay. Aluminum nitride is a covalent solid. Which type of crystalline solids have very high melting point? Seventh question. Which type of crystalline solids have got very high melting point? Very high melting point is for covalent solids due to strong covalent bonds. Okay, they are considered as giant molecules. They are considered as giant molecules due to the network arrangement of atoms through covalent bonds. Hence, they possess very high melting point. Question number 8. Define coordination number. It is definition coordination number. Coordination number is nothing but number of nearest neighbors. Number of nearest neighbors. Number of nearest neighbors. See, if at all carbon is bonded with 4 other carbon atoms, then I say coordination number of this carbon is equal to 4. Okay. So, the atoms which are directly attached to a given atom, number of atoms directly attached to a given atom is its neighboring atoms, and that number is nothing but coordination number. Number 9, question number 9. How many three-dimensional crystal lattices are possible? So you have studied in the crystal lattice, Bravais lattices. There are 14 crystal lattices are possible, or Bravais lattices are possible, or space lattices are possible. Three-dimensional crystal lattices, total number are 14. There are 7 crystal systems. What is the coordination number of a particle in HCP? HCP, CCP, BCC, primitive cell or simple cube. In simple cube, coordination number is equal to 6. In body centered cube, coordination number is equal to 8. In CCP, coordination number is equal to 12, as well as in HCP, coordination number is equal to 12. So both HCP and CCP coordination number is equal to 12, highest coordination number, maximum packing. In BCC coordination number is 8 and in simple cube coordination number is 6. So answer to this question is 12. How many octahedral voids are there in CCP unit cell? CCP unit cell nothing but FCC unit cell. CCP nothing but FCC. In FCC unit cell, there are 4 spheres. There are 4 spheres, 4 octahedral voids and 8 tetrahedral voids. Hope you got the answer to this question. Answer is 4. Okay. In CCP or in FCC, there are 4 spheres. As we know, number of spheres is to number of O voids, octahedral voids, is to number of T voids, tetrahedral voids. Number of T voids is number of spheres n, number of O voids n, number of T voids 2n, or you can write it as 1 is to 1 is to 2. 1 is to 1 is to 2. If there are 4 spheres, then 4 octahedral voids must be there and 8 tetrahedral voids must be there. Coming to question number 12. In question number 12, what is asked? What is end-centered unit cell? What is end-centered unit cell? There are 4 types of unit cells, actually 2 types unit cells. One is primitive unit cell, other one is centered unit cell. Centered unit cell. In primitive unit cell, the particles occupy the corners of the unit cell. Particles are present only at the corners of the unit cell, like this. We call this as primitive cell. While in case of centered unit cell, the particles are present at the corners as well as at the center of the face or at the body, like that. Any of the center, either face or body center, is occupied by the lattice points, then we call that as centered unit cell. There are 3 types of centered unit cell. One is body centered unit cell, face centered unit cell, and end centered unit cell. Okay. In end centered unit cell, the particles are present at the corners. As I said, they are common corners, like this. Corners are occupied by the particles. Other than these, any of the 2 opposite faces centers at the face centers, any 2 opposite face center is occupied by the particles. Such a unit cell is called as end-centered unit cell. You can write in the words or you can draw the diagram and express what is end-centered unit cell. Similarly, face-centered unit cell is one in which the particles are present at the corners and as well as all the 6 face centers. 6 face centers are occupied by the lattice points. In the body centered unit cell, the particles are present at the corners, like this. Okay, corners. As after this, one more particle is added and it is present at the center of the unit cell, center of the body. Hence we call it as body centered unit cell. Hope you got the answer to this question number 12. End centered unit cell is one in which lattice points are present at the corners and any two opposite face centers. Question number 13. There is a diagram given, okay. From that diagram we have to calculate what is the formula of the compound, okay. Formula to be identified. To find the formula we should know the empirical ratio. Empirical formula we are calculating. Empirical ratio of different atoms. The elements are A, B and C are the three elements which are present. So let us find the empirical ratio of A, B and C elements present in the compound. Okay. A atoms, as you see in the diagram, A atoms are at the corners. A atoms are at the corners. 8 corners are occupied. You know, corner particle, from the corner particle unit cell gets 1/8 share is to. B atoms are at the face centers. 6 face centers are occupied by the B and from the face centered particle unit cell gets half of the share. And C atom, that is at the body center, whole complete share is from the body center particle. So the formula, empirical formula of the compound is 1:3:1 and ratio is 1:3:1. Hence the formula is A1B3C1. AB3C is the formula of the compound. Okay. Next, 14th question. Nickel crystallizes as FCC. How many unit cells are required to accommodate 1 mole of nickel atoms? Okay. How many unit cells are required to accommodate 1 mole of unit cell? The unit cell given is FCC. FCC unit cell. In FCC unit cell, number of particles per unit cell Z is equal to, Z is nothing but number of atoms or particles per unit cell. Okay. In FCC, Z is equal to 4. That means 4 nickel atoms makes 1 unit cell. Okay. Therefore, 1 mole of nickel atoms, 1 mole is equal to what? 1 mole is equal to how many? 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 atoms makes how many unit cells? Okay. Therefore, what we can say, cross multiply it, that is number of unit cells required is equal to Avogadro number, 1 mole means Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 into 1 unit cell 1 divided by Z value is 4. Okay. If you cancel it, it is 1 point, okay, 1, right, you will be having 2, it is 5, okay, 0 and it is 5, it is 7, okay, it is 1.5057 into 10 raised to 23 is your answer. Okay. So what we did, we calculated how many unit cells are needed to accommodate 1 mole of nickel atoms. Okay. It is stoichiometry based question. Question number 15 is definition of packing efficiency. Packing efficiency is the total volume filled by the particles or atoms in the unit cell. In the space present in the unit cell, what part is filled with the spheres, that is called as packing efficiency. 16th question can also we can answer. write relationship between density and edge length of the unit cell. Density is equal to molar mass m into number of particles per unit cell z divided by edge length a cube into Avogadro number. So this is the relationship between density and edge length of the unit cell. So these are 1 mark questions. Okay. Let us move forward to the 2 mark question. If you have any doubt, you should send a message to us, or you can call and clarify your doubts directly from us. Okay. Now let us take up 2 mark questions. First question is, distinguish between crystalline and amorphous solids with respect to. See, there are many differences that we have discussed in the class, but in the examination, any 2 differences they will never ask. They will ask particularly with any property they give and ask us to write the difference with respect to that property. Here the property given are melting point, and we have given heat of fusion. Heat of fusion. These 2 are the 2 properties. With respect to that, we have to discuss the difference, distinguish crystalline and amorphous solids. Okay. Crystalline solids melting point, if I take, they have got a sharp melting point. Sharp melting point means they melt at particular temperature. That is, if we go on heating the crystalline solid, at that one particular temperature, solid suddenly changes into liquid. There is a sudden transformation in the physical state from solid to liquid. Such thing is called as sharp melting point, characteristic melting point. Whereas amorphous solids, if you take amorphous solid like glass, if you start heating the glass, it first becomes soft, then it becomes much more softer, and then it gets converted into liquid. That means glass melts over a range of temperature from T1 temperature to T2 temperature. That means they do not have any sharp melting point. No sharp melting point. Okay, they melt over a range of melting point. Next property is heat of fusion. Enthalpy of fusion, that is amount of heat required to fuse, means melt 1 mole of a solid, is called as heat of fusion. Or enthalpy change that takes place when 1 mole of a solid is converted into liquid at its melting point is called as heat of fusion. Crystalline solids have got a characteristic heat of fusion, and amorphous solids have no characteristic heat of fusion. So like this we can distinguish crystalline and amorphous solids. Coming to the question 2 of 2 mark questions, it is, what type of attractive forces exist between constituent particles in solid carbon dioxide? Solid carbon dioxide, first one. Second one is silicon dioxide, SiO2. Solid carbon dioxide, as you all know, you have studied in the first PUC chemical bonding. It is, carbon dioxide is a non-polar molecule. Okay, non-polar molecule. In non-polar molecules, what kind of forces are present? London forces or dispersion forces are present. In London forces or dispersion forces are present because carbon dioxide is a non-polar molecule. So type of attractive force is dispersion or London force. In what? Solid carbon dioxide, it is molecular solid, that too non-polar molecular solid. Coming to silicon dioxide, that is sand or silica or quartz you can call. It is sand or quartz. In sand or quartz or glass, in quartz, so what you will find, silicon atoms, silicon dioxide molecules are tetrahedrally around silicon, oxygen atoms are tetrahedrally arranged, making a network-like structure, and hence in silicon dioxide, strong covalent bonds are present. Strong covalent bonds are present. It belongs to covalent crystals. Okay. Next is question number 3. Write the differences between metallic and ionic solids. Here they have not asked any particular property. We just have to mention the difference between crystalline, what kind of crystalline solid, metallic and ionic solids. Metallic solids and ionic solids. We have to note the difference. First difference is constituent particle. Constituent particles. Okay. Next difference that we can take is intermolecular forces or interparticle forces. Interparticle forces. Then we can have melting point as the difference. Then we can have hardness, hard or soft. Okay. We can have insulation, electrical conductivity, insulation. This kind of properties we can take up. Metallic solids contains metal atoms. Metal atoms. Okay. Ionic solids contains cations and anions. Cations and anions are the constituent particles. Here actually how metals are present. In metallic solids, metal ions, positively charged metal ions are submerged in a sea of freely flowing mobile electrons. This is what considered as metallic solid. Coming to interparticle force of attraction, in metallic solids, metallic bonds are present. Metallic bonds. It is a kind of electrostatic force of attraction between positively charged metal ions and negatively charged moving electrons. That kind of forces are present in metallic solids, whereas in ionic solids, purely electrostatic forces are present. Electrostatic forces are present, strong electrostatic forces are present. Melting point, if I take, both have got high melting point, and melting point depends on the metallic bond. So let us not take this point as difference. Coming to hardness, both are hard, very hard metallic ionic solids. Metallic solids hardness depends on the metallic bond strength. Coming to insulation, we can add this point. Okay, this is number 1, number 2 and number 3, very important points. Insulation, if I take, metallic solids are good conductors in solid and molten state. Whereas ionic solids are insulators in solid state, whereas good conductors in molten state. So these are very important differences between metallic solids and ionic solids. 2 differences you can write. These 2 are very good points. Okay. Next, question number 4. Write the differences between metallic and molecular solids. So now let me take up metallic and molecular solids. What points we can write under this? Metallic solids and molecular solids. Okay. In case of metallic solids, the constituent particles are metal ions. Submerged means muluksirodu, submerged in a sea of freely flowing mobile electrons present in the metallic solids, whereas in molecular solids, molecules are present. Molecules are the constituent particles. Interparticle forces are metallic bonds in case of metallic solids, whereas in molecular forces, weak physical forces are present. Weak physical forces are present in between particles of molecular solids. Coming to melting point, metallic solids have got high melting point, whereas molecular solids have got very low melting point. They have got very low melting point. Okay? Metallic solids are generally hard. In most of the cases they are hard. Molecular solids, most of the cases they are soft. Okay? For every point there is an exceptional point also. Metallic solids conduct electricity in both solid and molten state, whereas molecular solids are insulators. They do not conduct electricity in any of the physical state. So like this, all are important points of difference between metallic solids and molecular solids. Next question is, name two types of two-dimensional close packing arrangements. 2D close packing arrangements. So, close packing you have to read again and again, understand, read the textbook, see the online class videos again and again, then only you will understand the close packing. Okay. What is asked here? Two types of two-dimensional close packing, 2D packing. Okay. In 2D packing there are two possibilities are there. So this is one line of spheres and this is second line of spheres. Spheres are arranged in such a way that they are arranged one in front of the other. This kind of packing is called as square 2D packing. Square 2D packing. Okay, this kind of packing, square 2D packing. So you will see square shape arrangement of spheres. I will show you. Okay, one sphere is in touch with four other spheres like this. So coordination number of this particle is equal to 4 because it is in touch with four other spheres. Okay. One more kind of packing is called as hexagonal 2D packing. In hexagonal 2D packing, there is a very close packing of spheres is being done with the trigonal voids. Okay. See, one sphere is in touch with how many spheres? You can count. So 6 spheres. It is in touch with 6 spheres. So coordination number of this sphere is equal to what? 6, and it is called as hexagonal close packing. So there are two types of 2D packings. One is square 2D packing, other one is hexagonal 2D packing. Question number 6. Name the two parameters that characterize a unit cell. The two parameters are 3 edge lengths A, B and C, and angle between the edges alpha, beta and gamma are the two parameters of the unit cell. I will repeat. First one, edge lengths ABC. Second one, angle between the edges alpha, beta and gamma. Next, 7th question is definition type question. Define unit cell, define crystal lattice. Unit cell is the smallest repeating unit of a crystal. Smallest repeating unit of a crystal is called as unit cell. It can be smallest repeating unit of a lattice. Okay, which when repeated in 3 dimensions forms a complete lattice. Such a repeating unit is called as unit cell. Coming to crystal lattice. Crystal lattice is the 3-dimensional arrangement of particles in a crystal. How the particles are arranged in the 3 dimensions to form a crystal is called as crystal lattice. I have explained close packing with the help of models. Balls, you may remember that three-dimensional arrangement of balls to form a lattice is called as crystal lattice. Question number 8. How many possible variations are in a cubic crystal system? How many possible variations are in a cubic crystal system? Which one of these has 4 particles per unit cell? Variations means how many different ways of arrangement of lattice are possible in cubic crystal system. So in cubic crystal system, number of lattices, number of variations are: one is simple cubic lattice, that is variation. Second one is body centered lattice, unit cell or lattice. Okay. Third one is face centered lattice, face centered arrangement. Okay. So this is first answer. How many it is asked, what it is not asked. How many of them are present? 3. 3 different variations are possible. Which one of these has 4 particles per unit cell? See, in simple cubic unit cell, the value of Z is equal to 1. In BCC, the value of Z is equal to 2. In FCC, the value of Z is equal to 4. Z means number of particles per unit cell. So answer to this question, second part of the question, which one of these has 4 particles per unit cell? Then you will give the answer as what? Face centered lattice, cubic lattice. Question number 9. What portion of the atom belongs to a unit cell if it is located in the body of the unit cell? If it is at the center of the unit cell, complete portion belongs to the unit cell, that is 1 portion. That is 9th question. Answer to the first question, 9th one, is complete portion, that is 1 portion. 1 portion of body center particle. 1 portion of body center particle belongs to the unit cell. Okay. Second question of 9th main question is at the center of the edge of the unit cell. Edge center particle is 1/4 portion. 1/4 portion of what? Edge center particle belongs to the unit cell. If it is asked face center, then half portion of face center particle. Okay. If it is asked to the corner, then 1/8 portion of corner particle. So like this, any of the question can be asked, question can be changed, like what portion of face center particle belongs to the unit cell. Then you should know all these things. Okay. Question number 10. How many lattice points in unit cell of FCC? Number of lattice points is asked, not number of particles per unit cell. You don't get confused. Number of lattice points is asked. Okay. In simple cube, number of lattice points is equal to 8. Because 8 corners are occupied, number of lattice points in simple cube, number of lattice points is equal to 8. In BCC, the lattice points are at the corners and at the center of the body. So how many lattice points are there? 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. In FCC, where are the lattice points? Where are the lattice points? At the corners and at the center of the faces. So how many faces are there? 6 faces, 8 corners, 14 lattice points. In end centered, if it is there, the particles are 8 plus 2 and is equal to 10. 10 lattice points. Here what is asked? only in FCC and end-centered. FCC and end-centered. 14 in FCC and in end-centered. 10 lattice points are present per unit cell. Question number 11. Write one similarity and one difference between HCP and CCP. HCP and CCP have got same packing efficiency, have got same coordination number. Okay. Similarity, now let me give you similarity. Both HCP and CCP have same coordination number, that is equal to 12, same packing efficiency. Packing efficiency is equal to 74%. Okay, two similarities are there. Difference is asked. Difference between HCP and CCP is that HCP has AB packing, whereas CCP has ABC packing. First and second layer are identical in HCP, and in CCP first and fourth layer are identical. Okay, like this you can distinguish, as well as you can note the similarity between HCP and CCP. Okay. Coming to the question number 12, 13, it is calculations. It is there in the video class. You can go through that. Calculation of number of atoms in FCC, calculation of number of atoms in BCC. I think it is in the third video. You can go through that. Question number 14. In a compound, atoms of A forms CCP, atoms of B occupy all the tetrahedral voids, and atoms of C occupy all the octahedral voids. This is question number 14. So, what is the formula of the compound? So, whenever we want to write the formula, we should have empirical ratio. The empirical ratio is A is to B is to C. Okay. Where are A atoms? A atoms are forming close packed structure. That means n number of spheres. Okay. B atoms are occupying all the tetrahedral voids. How many tetrahedral voids are produced out of n number of spheres? 2n number of tetrahedral voids are produced. All are occupied is to. Where are C atoms? They are occupying octahedral voids. How many octahedral voids are produced? N. All are occupied by C. Okay. Divide with n and you will get the simple ratio. The ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1. Therefore, the formula of the compound is A, B2, C. Hope it is clear. So, n number of spheres, 2n number of tetrahedral voids, n number of octahedral voids. Question number 15. Metal oxide crystallizes in HCP structure arrangement for its oxide ions. Again similar question, we should have empirical ratio. Okay, oxide means oxygen is to metal, M let me write. Okay, M is to O we should have. See what is given here? Metal oxide crystallizes in HCP arrangement for its oxide ions. HCP arrangement means number of spheres n is to. Okay. 2/3 of the octahedral voids are occupied by the metals. How many octahedral voids are produced? N. But all are not occupied. 2/3 of them are occupied by the metal ions. So, now what is the ratio? Ratio is 2/3 is to 1 or the ratio is 2:3. Formula of the compound metal oxide is M2O3. M2O3 is the formula of the metal oxide. So these are 16th question. Aluminium crystallizes in CCP structure. Aluminium crystallizes in CCP structure. Its metallic radius is 125 picometer. Calculate the length of the face diagonal. Face diagonal. See, this is the face. Sorry. So this is the face of a cube. So you can imagine the cube like this. So this is the face. We want to know the face diagonal. This is edge. This is also edge. This is also edge. Edge. Okay, edge length nothing but A. Edge length nothing but A. Face diagonal nothing but B. Face diagonal is equal to B. What is given? Edge length is given. A is given. It is equal to 125 picometer. What is asked to find out? Length of the face diagonal. What is B? It is asked to get. Okay, edge length is given and they have asked us to calculate the face diagonal. So in FCC, while deriving packing efficiency, while calculating packing efficiency, we come across the expression for A in terms of R. A is equal to 2√2 into R. A is equal to 2√2 into R. And also we know that B is equal to 4R. B is equal to 4R. By using these two, get the expression of value of R in terms of A. So B is equal to 4 into, what is R is equal to in terms of A? It is A by 2√2. Okay, cancel it. 2A by √2. R it is equal to A by A into √2 into A. Is it clear? So B is equal to √2 into A. You know the value of √2. It is 1.414 times A. So we have got the relationship for between B and A. B, that is face diagonal, is equal to 1.414 times A. Substitute the value of A and get the answer. Okay, hope you will solve this. Okay, see, B is equal to 1.414 times A, that is B is equal to √2 times A. Okay, next one. It is question number 17. A metal crystallizes in BCC structure. Metal crystallizes in BCC structure. Edge length of the unit cell is 300 picometers. How many unit cells are in 5 cubic centimeter of the metal? It is BCC given. BCC lattice. Okay, edge length A is given as what? 300 picometers. Okay, how many unit cells are in 5 cubic centimeter of the metal? Irrespective of the lattice, what we say? Volume of the unit cell. Volume of the unit cell is equal to A cube. That, see, in this case, what is given to us? A is equal to 300 picometers. Okay, given volume given is equal to 5 cubic centimeter. See, it is in cubic centimeter, whereas this A is given in meter. So let us convert it. 300 into 10 raised to minus 12 into 10 raised to 2 centimeter, sorry. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. So this is equal to 300 into 10 raised to minus 10 centimeter, or it is 3 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeter. It becomes easy for us now. Okay. So what is A cube is equal to now 3 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeter whole cube. That is equal to 3 cube is what? 27 into 10 raised to minus 24 cubic centimeter. That is 27 into 10 raised to minus 24 cubic centimeter makes 1 unit cell. So in 5 cubic centimeter, how many unit cells are present? Right? In 5 cubic centimeter, how many unit cells are present? So number of unit cells is equal to number of unit cells is equal to 5 cubic centimeter given volume into 1 unit cell divided by A cube, that is 27 into 10 raised to minus 24. So hope you can solve this. Okay, see 5, what formula is? Number of unit cells is equal to given volume divided by A cube. Given volume divided by A cube. Okay, solve it and get the answer. Let us take 17th question we discussed. We shall take up now 3 marks questions. Marks questions. Based on the intermolecular forces, name the 3 types of molecular solids. Mention the forces of attraction in them. 3 types of molecular solids are: number 1, polar molecular solids; number 2, non-polar molecular solids; number 3, hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Okay, mention the forces of attraction present in them. In polar, dipole-dipole forces. In polar, dipole-dipole forces are present. In non-polar, London forces or dispersion forces are present. Dispersion forces. In hydrogen bonded, hydrogen bonds are present. Hydrogen bonding. So this is a 3-mark question. Differentiate covalent and polar molecular solids based on. Okay, covalent solids and polar molecular solids. Distinguish madak helidare. Covalent and polar molecular solids. Covalent solids contains, you all know, atoms, covalently bonded atoms, whereas in molecular solids, polar molecular solids, molecules are present as constituent particles. Non-polar molecules are present. Bonding, if I consider in covalent solids, covalent bonds are present, whereas in polar molecular solids, dipole-dipole forces are present. Melting point, if I take, fairly high melting point is of covalent solids, very low melting point is of polar molecular solids. Like this, we can distinguish covalent and polar molecular solids. Matching is given in the column 1, square, this matching is on close packing. Square close packing in 3 dimension. Okay, square close packing in 3 dimensions, that is simple cubic arrangement. All layers are identical, which is AAA pattern. Hexagonal close packing in 3 dimension. HCP it is called as, in short HCP you can write. In HCP, ABAB packing, that means first and third layer are identical. Cubic close packing, write it as CCP, short form ag barkondre easy agutte. Cubic close packing CCP, ABC arrangement, that is third and fourth layer are identical. Okay, so this we have already discussed. Coming to question number 4 in the 3 marks part. What type of unit cell are A and B? How many particles per unit cell are in B? It is a 3-mark question. If you see the diagram, it is simple cube A and second one is body centered cube. How many particles are in BCC? It is 8. 8 or 2 particles per unit cell. Calculate packing efficiency in CCP, calculate packing efficiency in BCC, packing efficiency in simple cube. Out of 5, 6 and 7 questions, 1 you'll get compulsorily in the examination for 3 marks. You need to practice this. Okay, next. 8th question. These are numericals. In the video class I said these numericals will be asked for 3 marks. Now it is not so. They will be asked for only 2 marks. Formula 1 marks and answer 1 mark. There is no marks for the substitution and calculations. You have to do that, but the answer, right answer with right unit will score you 1 mark, and formula will score you 1 mark. Okay. Let us take up 8th question. In the 8th question, FCC given, FCC lattice. FCC lattice is given. Edge length A is given as a 0.56 nanometer. Okay, so we have to convert this into centimeter later on. Density we are asked to calculate. Okay, we can calculate density in terms of gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, molar mass is given, that is equal to 40 gram per mole. Avogadro number value we can write, it will be given in the annual exam paper, 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. So let us convert this into centimeter. See, it is 0.56. Nano means what? Nano is equal to 10 raised to minus 9. Meter, 1 meter is equal to 10 raised to 2 centimeter. Okay, let us write this as 0.56 into 10 raised to minus 9 into 10 raised to 2 centimeter. Okay, it is 0.56 into 10 raised to minus 7 centimeter. Or else you can write it as 5.6 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeter. Okay, what is edge length? It is 5.6 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeter. What we are supposed to calculate now? Density. So hope you will remember the density expression. Yesterday, today itself you have learnt. Density D is equal to molar mass M into Z divided by A cube into Avogadro number. Okay, molar mass is 40, the value of Z. For FCC lattice, value of Z is equal to 4. Z means number of particles per unit cell, that is equal to 4, divided by A cube, that is 5.6 into 10 raised to minus 8 whole cube, into Avogadro number 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Okay, get the answer. Okay, I will not give the answer now. Okay, you get the answer, calculate it and get the answer. Question number 9. Element X has density 6.23 gram. Density is given. Okay, density is given. In the question number 9, density is given as 6.23 gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, edge length A is given as 4 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeter. No need of conversion. There is no headache here. Molar mass is given as 60 gram per mole. We will write the Avogadro number. It is 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. It is asked to calculate the nature, identify the type of, we should know the type of cubic unit cell. What is the type of cubic unit cell? That means we need to find the value of Z. Okay. So here density is 6.23 is equal to molar mass is 60 into value of Z. Z as it is I am writing. It is 4 into 10 raised to minus 8 whole cube into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Z is equal to 6.23 into 4 cube is 64 into 10 raised to minus 8 cube is 24 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 divided by 60. Solve it. You will get 4, I think. 4 is the answer. Okay. Previous question answer, 8th question answer you can write. Answer to the 8th question, it is 1.5123. What is that asked to find out here? It is density. You can write gram per cubic centimeter. 8th question answer is 1.5123 gram per cubic centimeter. 9th question answer is 4. Question number 10. Metal crystallizes in BCC unit cell. Okay, crystallizes in BCC unit cell. Then density is given as 7.9 gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, atomic mass, that is molar mass, is given as 55.8. Is as 55.8. Calculate the edge length of the unit cell. Edge length we need to calculate. Density is given as 7.9. Molar mass is given as 55.8. Avogadro number, it is 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. BCC lattice is given. For BCC lattice, Z is equal to 2. We need to get the value of A. Density is 7.9 is equal to molar mass is 55.8 into 2 divided by A cube. We need to find A into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Okay. So here A cube is equal to, I am sending this to the other side, left side. Okay. So it is 55.9 into 2 divided by 7.9 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. The value of A cube is 20, you will get it as 2.344 into 10 raised to minus 23. So this is what you will get. Further simplification is to be done. A is equal to cube root of, I write this as 23.44 into 10 raised to, instead of 23, I will write it as 24 now, minus 24. Cube root of 10 to the power of minus 24 is 10 raised to minus 28. It is cube root of 23.44 into 10 raised to minus 8. I have taken it outside the cube root. Okay. It is now cube root of 23.44. Cube root of 23.44 is 2.86 into 10 raised to minus 8. Okay. Is it clear? So how to get this? How to calculate this? We shall discuss about the calculation of this kind of numericals with the help of log tables. Okay. So in the next class or in the next worksheet discussion, I will discuss this calculation along with the log book. As I don't have log book now to explain, I have directly taken the answer. So in my next video class, I will be discussing how to calculate this using log table, because in the annual exam you will be provided with a simple calculator in which there is no cube root, there is only square root. So you will be provided log sheet. With the help of log sheet, you can simplify or you can calculate, you can have simplification of this kind of numericals. Okay. Last question, 5 mark question. It is only one question is there. Let us see what is that. A cubic solid has element P and Q. Cubic solid is given, element P and Q are in the cubic solid. Q atoms are at the corners and P atoms are at the body center. What is the formula of the solid? What is, again we have to have empirical ratio. Empirical ratio is of P and Q atoms. Okay. What is given here? Q are at the corners. Q are at the corners means 8 corners into 1/8 share. 1/8 share. Okay, is to. Where are the p atoms? Body center, one body center into one share, right? So it is 1:1. So the formula is what? PQ. PQ is the formula. Okay. What else is there in this question? Second part of the question is, what is the coordination number of P and Q? Coordination number of P and Q. It is given cubic lattice, body centered lattice. By the explanation we can say body centered. In BCC, okay, a coordination number of each particle. Coordination number of each particle is equal to 8. Therefore, coordination number of P is equal to 8. Coordination number of Q is also equal to 8. That is, P atoms so these are Q atoms at the corners. Okay, P atom at the center of the body. This P atom is in touch with how many Q atoms? 8 Q atoms. You can have reverse. Imagine P at the corners and Q at the body center. Each Q is in touch with how many P's? 8 P's. So the coordination number of P and Q are the same, that is 8. B question. Compound forms HCP. Okay. What is the total number of voids? Sorry, the total, what is the total number of voids in 0.4 mole of it? 0.4 mole of it. How, out of them, how many are T voids? Okay. Number of voids they have asked. Okay. See what is given, what kind of lattice is given? It is HCP lattice. In HCP lattice, what is packing? Packing efficiency. Packing efficiency is equal to 74%. Packing efficiency is equal to 74%. What is void? Void is equal to 26%. Void is equal to 26%. That means out of 1 mole, 0.74 mole is filled, whereas 0.26 mole is void. Okay. Out of 1 mole, 0.74 mole is filled and 0.26 mole is unoccupied. Is it correct way of solving? Compound forms HCP structure. What is the total number of voids in 0.4 mole of it? Sorry. Very sorry. Okay. See, 1 mole corresponds to 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 atoms or particles. Okay. Out of 0.4 mole corresponds to 0.4 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. Or spheres you can take. Okay. See, number of spheres is equal to 0.4 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Therefore, number of ovoids is equal to 0.4 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Number of T voids number of T voids is equal to 2 into 0.4 into 6.023 into 10 raised to 23. Okay? If you add these two, you will get the total number of voids. See, let us simplify this. I see this as 4 into 10 raised to minus 1. Then it becomes 10 raised to 22. It was 23, it becomes 22. 4 into this, 4 3s are 12. Okay, 1 carry. 4 2s are 8 plus 1, 9. Okay, it is 0. 4 6s are 24. So 24 into 10 raised to 22. Or you can write it as 2.4 into 10 raised to 23. Okay, its double is 4.8 into 10 raised to 23. So total number of voids is equal to number of O voids plus number of T voids. It is 2.4 into 10 raised to 23 plus 4.8 into 10 raised to 23. That is equal to, what happens, 8 plus 4, 12. Okay, plus 1, it is 7.2 into 10 raised to 23 voids. These are total number of voids, and these are total number of T voids. These are total number of O voids. These are the number of spheres in terms of number. In terms of mole, if it is asked, okay, out of 0.4 number of 4 mole of spheres, we will get 0.4 mole of O voids, 0.8 mole of T voids. So total number of voids is equal to 0.4 plus 0.8. It becomes what? 1.2 mole of voids are present. Okay. So here completes all the questions which I have given in the worksheet based on the topics covered till yesterday. Okay. So the lesson, almost 60% of the lesson is complete. Remaining you can see, you can get in the next video classes. Thank you one and all.